5 people also speak English to some extent, okay, including us, yeah. And then it's also the language of trade and business, yeah. So as you can see here, 90% of the world's transactions are in English, yeah. And then financial giants and also large corporations use English, regardless of the country they're in. And then it's also the language of education. Now, if you want to read books, okay, most likely, yeah, the books are written in English. And the books are written in English, why? Because so that the author can gain more people, more audience, yeah. So if you want to be able to learn more, then you have to know how to read in English. And then it is also the language of travel, yeah. So if you open websites, you open whatever services, very much likely you always have the English version. And then it is also the language of science and technology, yeah. If you want to write, you know, like a journal, and you want to have like international recognition, yeah, and the easiest way to write you to also learn the basic patterns and things like that, so that you don't have the perception anymore that English is just too difficult. Because if I compare with other European languages that I know, like for example German, like for example Dutch and Spanish, you know, English is like the easiest of them all. Now, if I compare also with Mandarin, for example, yeah, probably Mandarin is easier, but the writing is very complicated. Yeah, and Japanese, for example, Japanese is actually much more difficult than Chinese. Yeah, so probably you do not know that, but I know that because I've learned Japanese for more than 3 years, so I know it quite inside out. Right, and then it is also the language of use. Yeah, so if you want to sound cool, then you have to be able to speak in English. Sometimes, you know, you don't really speak entirely in English, but you mix English and Bahasa Indonesia, or English with the slang of Jakarta dialect. Why not? Yeah, and you want to sound cool, speak it in English. Okay, you may not speak entirely like the whole thing in English, but take some phrases. You sound cool already, right? And then it is also the universal language. Yeah, okay. And you should know that English has one of the richest vocabulary in the world, a language that absorbs a lot of loan words from other languages, and English never rejects. So that is the difference. Now, for example, if I compare with Chinese, for example, Mandarin Chinese, you cannot just take any words, you know, because of the difficulty in how to rewrite in Chinese, and everything has to be translated. So, for example, if I say radio in English, in Bahasa Indonesia it is radio, so I think it's easy. But then in Chinese, you cannot say radio because, you know, like you have to translate. So it is translated as an apparat, okay, a tool that receive sound, something like that. So actually, because we speak Bahasa Indonesia and Bahasa Indonesia also absorb a lot of words from English, I think we are advantaged in such a way because you don't have to memorize too much. What we need to do is probably just to learn the spelling. So it is spelled differently. That's all. Yeah. Okay. And then it is also the language of the internet. Yeah. So 50% is in English. Yeah. So if you want to connect to the world, you have to speak in English, right? And then, based on all of the above, you can understand how important English is. Okay, for me, it is like an instrument for life, work, study, communication with friends, and also if I want to have some entertainment, okay, I watch movies, I see movies, I play games, everything is in English. Yeah, so right now the status of English is like international language, and I think it will remain international. But if you ask me, like, will Chinese replace English one day? I do not know. But for sure, Chinese has more native speakers than English. But if we count globally, English has more speakers. Yeah. All right. I would like to continue my presentation with the second one. And why is it not, why, okay, this one. Okay, why can't you learn English? Yeah, some of you have difficulty like learning English. Oh, it's so difficult. It's so, oh no, it's so hard. Yeah, so why can't you learn English? Okay, now, these are what you have been telling yourself. Okay, so tons of excuses. All right, so I'm not good with foreign languages. Nobody is good enough with foreign languages until you try. Yeah, until you try. And I guess all of you who are now students in Nalanda, I guess you are much advantage simply because you have started starting from elementary school. Well, in my age, I started English starting when I was in junior high school, right? And from junior high school, you know, I began to start with I am, you are, he is, it is, you know. But you, no, I guess you can speak right now very much fluently, and you have started earlier. Yeah, you have started earlier. And then this is also very important. I am embarrassed to speak English, so I'm shy if I make mistakes. So please don't be shy. If you know Javanese, bahasa Jawa, yeah, in Surabaya we speak Surabayaan, or like the egalitarian version of the Javanese language. But then the real Javanese is like the high Javanese, or Boso Kromo, Kromo Alus, or the soft Kromo. It's the high Javanese. I also learned to speak it, and you know I'm not shy. So whenever I encounter elder people, you know, who are Javanese, I try to speak in high Javanese, and I receive recognition and I receive respect. Yeah, and you know, like sometimes they laugh at me because you know, and somehow they also laugh to me because I speak using the vocabularies of the high Javanese, but my accent is pretty much Indonesian. Sorry, it's pretty much Surabayaan. Well, I guess when I speak English, you know, I don't sound pretty much Maddo, yeah. But then if I speak Bahasa Indonesia, people can recognize very, very quickly that I am Javanese and I am from Surabaya. So please don't be shy, don't be embarrassed, yeah. So in Bahasa Jawa, so please, yeah, have Rai Gedek attitude. Pak Rahula, I think you know very well. So Rai Gedek is like the face of, you know, the bamboo fence, you know. Okay, so you say I'm too old to learn English. This is also another excuse. No, nobody is too old. Yeah. So right now I've started to learn Spanish because I have friends in Spain, and then I would like to know, you know, and Spanish is also the language is pretty much uh, frequently, yeah, very, very often also in the United States. Yeah. So I've started to learn Spanish. I don't go to Spanish courses, but I learn on my own. So I'm not too old. I'm not too old. I'm not too old to learn anything. And say to yourself that you are not too old to learn anything. Then number 4, I don't have enough time because learning a language takes a lot of time. Yes, you are right. So being able to speak a foreign language does not happen overnight. Okay, so I want to learn, then I can. No, that is not possible. Okay, but don't say that you don't have enough time. So what I do, you know, with my Spanish, because I'm not learning Spanish, is that whenever I have free time, you know, I listen to Spanish reporting, stuff like that. Okay, so I can make use of my time. You know, for example, I'm relaxing, I have nothing to do, so I try to play the reporting and stuff. So please don't say that you don't have enough time. Yeah. So actually, we never have enough time until you make time. Yeah. And then I need to visit an English-speaking country. It is not the case actually. Yeah. You don't have to visit an English-speaking country to be able to speak English, because very often we don't speak English to the native speakers of English. Yeah. Very, very often. We don't, once again, we don't speak English to the native speakers of English. English to people from Malaysia, from Thailand, from Taiwan, from Hong Kong. Okay, and you don't need to visit an English-speaking country, and especially right now, there are facilities. Yeah, so there are opportunities with the internet. And then I can afford to buy books that are very expensive. Don't say it like that, you know. Yeah, I know books are expensive, but right now, you know, you can download ebook very easily. If you want to learn, you want to get like resources in English, just let me know. I have tons of books to help you with. Yeah, I know if you buy, you know, the hard copy, it is expensive because of the tax and the dollar, the currency, and the growth and the exchange rate. Yeah, and then I cannot afford the tuition fee; it's very expensive. But I guess you have people in your university to help you with English. Don't say that you cannot afford the tuition fee because you also have English language in your university. Okay, and actually, no matter how well you speak English, you are not going to sound like a native speaker, and that is true. That is true, but don't worry about that. You see, because English is international. If you go to India, for example, people there speak English, so it's almost native. Like if you go to the Philippines, yeah. So the first time I went to the Philippines, I thought I wouldn't be able to read anything, but I was wrong. When I arrived in the Philippines, you know, it's like 95% of everything is written in English, all the books, and even they see Hollywood movies in the cinema without subtitle. And when I go to the bookstore, you know, I see English books everywhere, and I was books in Tagalog, but you know, there were only very few. Yeah, don't worry about the accent because English is international. Yeah, so and okay, if you learn something, you study for a purpose, it will be engaging. And I think it is engaging because you get to know English, you can read, you can listen to many things. Yeah. And number 10, my skills do not develop naturally. Okay, don't get frustrated because it doesn't happen overnight. Okay, because it doesn't happen overnight, and you have to persevere. Right? Don't worry. Then it's boring. No, learning English is not boring. Yeah, probably it's boring if you only learn and learn and learn and you never use. But then if you get a lot of exposure, you're exposed to native speakers, you're exposed to English speaking people, you're exposed to textbooks you have to read, you're exposed to podcasts you have to listen to, assignments and things like that, it will not be boring. And then it is different from my native language. Yeah. Well, you can be very good, but you can never be like a native. I agree, but you can be as good as native. Yeah, as good as native, but you can never be a native speaker, of course. Yeah, but don't worry. If you are already a very good speaker of English, and then you can read, you can write, you can express yourself comfortably. That's already enough. I don't need it for my job. Well, so probably right now you have no need of being able to speak English, being able to read English, speak English, and things like that because you don't need it for your job. But don't think like that because there are opportunities. So you are growing, right? And there will be the opportunity. Okay, when your supervisor, your immediate supervisor, sees that your English is good, okay, it's really good, then when there is an opportunity, okay, to send people abroad, will be on the post priority list, okay? And then I'm not going to be able to afford trips abroad. Okay, so you think that there is no use of learning English because you're not going abroad. That is wrong. Yeah, why? Because I started learning English in junior high school, and then I started learning Dutch, German, and Japanese. Yeah, and I actually didn't think that I would get the chance to go to those I learned. Okay, but you see, right now I've been to many countries, many places, and I have been able to use, what I have learned. And people are quite envious, saying that like, oh, Hadi, kamu kok pintar sekali, kamu makan apa? It's not what you eat, it's not what you learn. It's what you learn, it's what you study. It's not about what I eat. Kalau badannya besar, what do you eat? Nah itu betul. Jawabannya adalah makannya banyak. Ya, tapi kalau belajar bukan makan apa, tapi belajar apa. Okay? Next. I do not know grammar, so I cannot speak. Yeah, grammar is pretty much complicated. Yes, I know. But then you cannot avoid it. You cannot avoid grammar if you want to learn European languages. Okay? All European languages carry grammar. Okay, you cannot run away. You cannot hide from it. I know Dutch pretty well. I know German pretty well. And I need to tell you that the grammar of these two languages are way more difficult than English. Yeah. Also, Spanish, I know. And if you speak Spanish or if you listen to Spanish, you probably get confused because they never put the subject. Yeah, because the verb is different for each subject. So they feel that they don't need to repeat the pronoun all the time. Okay? I cannot speak because I don't remember all the grammar rules. No, it is not true. You can always speak. Yeah. Even like later I'm going to show you, yeah, what you need to know or the minimum things that you need to know so that you can speak. All right, I don't have many vocabularies and I'm not confident to speak. Now, if you don't have many vocabularies now, you have to put some efforts to memorize those vocabularies. Okay, and memorizing vocabularies is not by reading the dictionary. That is wrong. So people think that, okay, I need vocabularies. I need to memorize from the dictionary. And I think that is not very accurate. So the suggestion is pretty much misleading because you do not need each word in the dictionary. Okay? Because not all the words in the dictionaries, okay, are going to be used. Or you're not going to use, like all of them. But you have to try, yeah, for the most frequent words. Okay, you have to know. That's it. Okay, this is probably the last. I don't need to learn because there are translating applications like Google Translate. Or if you watch YouTube lately, okay, they also advertise some kind of tool. It's like very handy. It's like a hand tool. Yeah, in the like a TV remote controller, and then you can speak to the thing, and then the thing can speak again in another language. Yeah, and then you think that, oh, I don't need to learn because there are things like that. What about if, okay, if you lose the thing? Okay, what about if you're running out of battery? No, yeah. So I think it's like if you were a doctor, do you think, and you have to believe me that our brain is very sophisticated and it works much faster than stuff like that. Okay? And the list continues. Okay, if you keep excusing yourself, the list will certainly continue and you don't get anywhere. So please, if you have excuses like what I have mentioned, okay, so try to pick them, okay, erase, wipe them off your mind, your memory, okay? All right, so Pak Rahula, so before I start again, do you want to say something?
Okay, that's good. Great explanations from Mr. Hadi Sutrisno Winarlim. So as you know that English is very important also, yeah? I'm teaching Buddhist in this school also using English.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's very nice.
Very good.
Okay. Any question for the participants from now?
Okay, so now the Teddy Chan.
Teddy Chan, okay.
Okay, so why do you have to care about the grammar when you speak? I guess you have to care about the grammar because if you just speak and speak and speak and you don't care about the grammar, later on the mistake is going to be fossilized. Fossilized artinya itu you cannot change anymore because it is harder to change, you know. Yeah, it is going to reach a point where it is impossible to change anymore. So grammar, and I'm going to discuss with you a bit of the grammar. So probably I'm not going to be able to explain in depth, like for everything, but at least it will give you, like the overview. All right. So I will just show you a couple of possibilities here. Wait a second. So there are, okay, this one. So 20 ways to improve your English. So I guess if you are telling yourself, like it is not easy to get books. Well, in my time, it was like that. But right now, it is not like that anymore. Yeah. So you have websites like this. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. So you have Duolingo, VOA. So if you are keen of learning American English, VOA is something that you can access. British Council also. And then websites. Okay. So you can play games like this. There are also this one, Duolingo. What I like about Duolingo is it's free. It's really, really free. Babbel you have to pay, but Duolingo is free. And then you also have Rosetta Stone, this one, a lot. So I will just make it very quick. Yeah. So you can watch movies. Yeah. So there are also applications for learning English. If you have Android, I think you have more choices of learning or downloading applications. Yeah, a lot. Yeah, it's like Quizlet, Flashcard. Yeah, a lot really. Something like this, and you can also access English-speaking mass media. For example, Newsweek, Telegraph, Newsweek Time are pretty heavy to read, but you can always try something lighter. So you have TED Talks. If you access the internet, you have TED Talks. So I think it's nice. Yeah. So you can try. Why not? And if you listen, I have a tips for you. Like if you listen, you probably do not get everything. Don't worry. Yeah. As long as you can get like the whole thing, that's fine. Yeah. So you don't have to get everything. So you listen to the radio right now. You can listen to broadcast from the USA, very easily. You just download some of the application from the Google Store. Okay, and also there are stuff like this also for free, and then lessons on YouTube, a lot really. Then you can also learn from animation, from songs. If you when I was in junior high school, I fell in love with a band called Guns N' Roses, and like I'm very much determined to get the lyric, to get every word in the lyric, and I learned a lot. Yeah. Okay, something like this. Yeah, a lot. Yeah. Okay. This is just to give you ideas. Don't think that it's gonna be expensive. No, there are a lot of videos on YouTube you can access for free. Well, only kuota ya. So you have to. Okay, Pak. Yeah, Pak Teddy. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Hadi.
I'm going to discuss with you about your question more deeply. Okay, so my next presentation is this one. Yeah, I'm going to invite you, to learn the basic patterns in English. But before that, I'm going to invite you to know the parts of speech in the English language. Yeah. Okay. This one. So this is like the built-in blocks. So you have to know the 8 parts of speech. What is actually part of speech? Itu bagian-bagian. Jadi kata-kata apa saja. In English there are 8. Yeah. So you have noun, pronouns, adjectives, preposition, conjunction, and interjections. Okay, noun. Nah, noun ini kata benda, Pak. Kalau pronoun kata ganti. Oke, adjective is kata sifat, verb kata kerja, adverb kata keterangan, preposition, preposisi, kata depan, conjunction, kata hubung, interjection itu untuk menyatakan kayak sapaan, kaget gitu namanya interjection. Oke, now let us on. Atau gini aja, saya coba untuk supaya lebih cepat ya. Saya langsung gini aja ya. Oke. Because the animation takes too much time. Okay, noun. What about noun? Nah, noun itu adalah kata benda. Okay, for example, Mary, girl, neighbor, New York, town, city. Nah, ini kita mesti tahu, ya. Ada person, place, thing, idea. Okay, noun can be proper, can be common. Noun kata-kata benda biasa. Okay, and proper. Proper nama tempat, namanya orang, and so on. Namanya negara. Okay, and you see, proper nouns are always capitalized. Jadi selalu ditulis dengan huruf besar. Oke, sekarang kita lihat nouns. What about nouns? So you can have concrete or abstract. Nah, kalau ini death, child, gumball, freedom, responsibility, honesty, prejudice itu nggak bisa dilihat, nggak bisa disentuh. Oke, it's called abstract. Oke, so not real. Nah, these are the forms of nouns. Oke, single word, separate words, hyphenated. Ya. Nah, kalau 3/4 ini 3/4. Kalau bahasa Inggris itu pakai perperan itu angka berapa dibagi berapa, yang belakang harus dengan bentuk urutan seperti ini. Nah, kalau nouns itu yang sulit sebenarnya. What you need to know is about countable and uncountable. Okay. Like for example, homework is uncountable. Yeah, you cannot say homeworks, but you can say textbooks, classmates. Okay, you can say rooms, right? Sister, you can say sisters. Nah, ini yang harus kita ketahui ya, about nouns. Next, pronouns. Pronouns ini adalah kata ganti orang. Okay, for example like this. Susan said that she was sorry. Susan is already mentioned here in front. Now the second time we mention the same person, you don't have to mention the proper noun anymore. So we can simply use she. Thomas claimed the pencil belonged to him, right? To him, so we know it's Thomas. Okay. Later Thomas realized that the pencil belonged to Mark. Okay. So it's pronoun. Nah, pronoun itu ada banyak Bapak Ibu, ya, juga para mahasiswa. I, you, he, she, it, we, you, they. Itu semuanya adalah subject. And then we also have the object forms like me, you, him, her, it, us, you, and them. And then we also have the possessive, my, mine. Itu lain ya, tahu nggak bedanya? Kalau my itu adalah possessive adjective, okay? After that you have the noun. For example, my pen, your pencil, his sister, his brother, all right? Their car, something like that. But then if you have mine, yours, his, hers, you cannot put any noun at the back, okay? Why? Because the noun is probably already mentioned in front. For example, that I have in my hands, right? Nah, itu nggak apa-apa. Nah, kemudian juga ada yang namanya bentuk reflective, myself, yourself, ya. So you have to memorize, okay? Nah, reflective itu artinya ada beberapa. Mary hurt herself. Nah, hal yang seperti ini Bapak Ibu itu mesti kita hafalkan karena to hurt oneself itu satu kesatuan. To register oneself, okay? Untuk mendaftarkan diri. Kemudian yang kedua, Mary baked herself a cake. Maksudnya apa? Mary baked a cake for herself, untuk dia sendiri. Nah, but then the last one is by herself, meaning alone. Mary studied by herself, so Mary studied alone, on her own. Okay, nobody was with her while she was studying. Kita mesti tahu ini, ya. Kemudian demonstratives. Nah, ini itu in English, this that, but then you have to know that the nouns are plural, then you have to say this and those. Ya. And then adjective. Nah, adjective ini adalah kata sifat. Now, what is actually the function of adjective? The function of adjective is to explain about something, a noun. Ya, jadi adjective selalu menjelaskan kata benda, and it is always in front of the noun, and it is pretty much different from our language. So in bahasa Indonesia we have noun and then adjective. Rumah baru, for example, but in English it is new house, not house new. Nah, itu harus tahu. And adjective do not put s. Ya, misalnya kita kasih s. Oh beautiful, mereka cantik-cantik. They beautifuls, nggak bisa. But you have to say they are beautiful. Okay, so it's about adjective. Oke, nah ini yang kita juga perlu tahu ya. Every, few, some. Oke, ini yang indefinite ya. And then like this, you have good, delicious, American, and Chinese. So this is common and proper. So when you say proper, it's referring to an entity, a nationality, people, language, something like that, and it is always capitalized. Nah, ini yang agak sulit ya dalam bahasa Inggris, itu adalah a, an, and the. Sebenarnya nggak sulit. A new house and the new house, they are different. If you say the new house, berarti rumahnya itu kita sepakati bersama yang mana. Ya, oke. Are you talking about the house? Nah, apakah Anda ngomong tentang rumah tersebut, gitu ya? Bukan cuma any houses, alright? Nah, a sama an. Kalau kita kok bingung ya, a atau an ya? Gini, kadang-kadang a university, kadang an apple. Yo, katanya a, i, u, e, o. Itu harus pakai an. Nah, university, hour tuh kok an hour, bukan pakai tapi an. Nah, it is actually from the way we pronounce the noun. Okay? When the noun is preceded with a vocal, then we have to use an. Kenapa? Karena kalau kita bilang apple, orange, ya kan? Kita kan mulutnya buka-buka terus dong. Kalau bahasa Jawanya mangap-mangap terus, ya. You see like the n at the back, the n in an give you split of second, okay, for you to close your mouth before you can open it again, and it is easier that way for you to pronounce. So it is basically not grammar. So it is just for the ease of pronunciation, okay? Nah, kalau university itu kan U, berarti a university, not an university. Hour, the H is silent, so you say an hour, not an hour, not a hour, no, an hour, right? Nah, so this is about verbs. In English we have three kinds of verbs: action, linking, and helping. Nah, action ini yang kata kerja yang utama. Linking itu adalah kata kerja yang tentang subjeknya. Jadi bukan melakukan suatu kegiatan, bukan melakukan suatu action. For example, when I say I'm running, it's an action verb, right? If I say I am a teacher, okay, am itu to be, ya kan? Nah, atau I become a teacher, she becomes a nurse. Itu kan bukan melakukan suatu kegiatan, tetapi menyatakan dia itu keadaannya bagaimana. Itu namanya linking verb. Nah, ada yang namanya helping verbs. Later we are going to discuss more deeply. Okay? Cake. Nah, ini benar apa salah? Nah, kalau kita ngomong did bake. So this is okay if you would like to emphasize. Ya, tapi kalau misalnya enggak edit, I cooked it. Pak Rahula nggak percaya. Masa Hadi bisa masak enak gini? Loh bener, I cooked it, Pak. I cooked it myself. I did cook it. Nah, I did cook it. Sama seperti misalnya kita punya teman perempuan ya, kemudian kita bilang I love you. Masa saya beneran? Ya, I love you. I really love you. I do love you. Nah, itu boleh. Ya, ini hanya bisa dengan do, does, sama did. And then plus infinitive. The meaning is really, really. Okay. And this one I should have been on time. Itu beda dengan I should be on time. Later we are going to discuss about this one. Ya. Oke. This one is protection verbs. Ini penting juga. Transitive and intransitive. Okay, so transitive verbs are verbs that has a receiver. Jadi banyak. Oke. Jadi kalimat-kalimat ya yang kata kerjanya itu adalah transitive itu bisa kita rubah menjadi kalimat pasif. Oke. If we have active sentences and the verbs are in the transitive form, then it is pretty much likely that we are able to convert that sentence into the passive voice. Tetapi kalau intransitive nggak bisa, ya. Kalau intransitive, misalnya apa? Berlari, run. Run itu nggak bisa melarikan apa, nggak bisa. Kalau bahasa Indonesia mungkin bisa ya. Nah, tapi kan artinya lain. Tapi kalau lari, dalam maksudnya itu jogging yang cepat gitu ya, lari. So lari with whom, and then when, ya kan? Whom and when, ya kan? Nggak bisa kayak gitu, ya. Oke. Kemudian kapan, ya kan? Di mana? Maka nggak bisa ada objeknya. Oke. Nah, these are linking verbs, ya, like this. To be itu semuanya ada linking verb. Ya. And then this one, you look great. Nah, later ada yang namanya auxiliary verb. Nah, auxiliary have, am, should, semuanya adalah auxiliary. Oke? Ini juga semua bentuk to be, ya. Kita akan belajar nanti lebih banyak. Nah, ini adalah model verbs. Oke, saya sudah punya slide nanti. We are going to dig more deeply about helping verbs. Ini yang namanya kita namakan model. Nah, model itu adalah kata kerja yang kita gunakan untuk sesuatu yang tidak objektif, yang ada perasaan kita di situ. Oke, we use models. But then, if we write something that is scientific, do not use model verbs. Oke. Karena nanti artinya aneh. For example, if you combine this one and this one, ya, gather yearly, so or annually, ya. Uptown ini juga adverb of place. Joyously adalah adverb of manner yang menyatakan bagaimana sesuatu dilakukan. Very happy ini intensifier. Ya. Oke, good and well. Kalau good itu artinya baik as adjective, kalau well itu juga bisa adjective, but then the meaning is only restricted to in good physical condition. Ya, he's not well today, meaning he's not healthy today. Ya. And then preposition. Nah, preposition ini kata depan, for example, around, between, behind, paling gampang ya on, at, in itu ya. Nah kemudian ada yang namanya prepositional phrase. Jadi misalnya kita punya preposisi, kita kasih noun, itu menjadi prepositional phrase. Oke? Nah, ini yang sering ya, kalau kita ngomong santai, what channel are you on? Nah, kalau lebih formal itu, on what channel are you? Whom are you going with whom are you going? Ya, ini sih nggak masalah sih. Ini cuma mood aja. Oke, banyak sekali. There are quite a lot of prepositions. Nah, preposisi yang diikuti oleh noun itu nggak terlalu sulit, teman-teman. Yang sulit itu nanti kita harus belajar bahwa ada kata kerja yang diikuti oleh preposisi, kata sifat yang harus diikuti oleh preposisi tertentu, and that is our challenge. Oke, for example, to be good at, to be interested in, itu harus dengan in, dengan at, itu tertentu. And that is, well, you have to memorize, there is no other way. Ya. Oh, ini berbeda dengan ini. This is different. This one is different with this one. No. In English, you have to say it is different. That one is different from this one, bukan with. Nah itu, ya, kita juga mesti tahu. Oke, ini adalah preposisi. So there are too many. Ya. Okay, so multi-words prepositions. And then this one is conjunction, okay? And, but, also, for, yet, ini. So, and to show addition, but to show contrast, for to show reason, or to show choice, so to show cause and effect, yet to show contrast as well. Kalau yet ini kayak but ya, oke. Kalau so, kayak for. Nah ini. So you have to know this one as well. And then interjection. Interjection itu kayak apa sih? When you indicate your very strong feeling or excitement, then you may scream like, wow, ouch, yes, well, oh, yeah. So it's called interjection. It's not very important. It is not very difficult. It's not very difficult. And when we write, we don't really use interjection. Okay, but like this is actually like oral language or spoken language written down. Yeah. Okay. Nah, yang setelah ini saya ingin menjelaskan kepada teman-teman yang susunan-susunan kata. Oke? Ada pertanyaan dulu ya, enggak apa-apa. Kalau misalnya, okay, so there are questions like, what about the slides? Yeah, I will send you the slides, no problem. Yeah. Pak Rahula?
Yeah, okay, any question? Miss Asi. Miss Asi, raise up your hand. Miss Asi, please.
Kalau enggak kita teruskan aja, karena yang terakhir ini mungkin paling penting, Pak.
No question, ya. Okay, you can continue, Mr. Hadi.
Thank you. So this one is like the last one before we have like the quiz, a small quiz. But I believe this one is like the most important of all. Okay, I'm going to invite you, okay, to learn about grammar together. Ya, grammar ini apa sih? Nah, sulit apa enggak sih? Okay, now let us learn. Now, to be itu apa sih? Okay, and how do you translate to be? When do you use to be and why? And what are the possible constructions using to be? Iya kan? Ini seringkali kita nggak ngerti nih. Am, is, are, was, were, been ini untuk apa sih? Okay, if I ask you, unfortunately I don't have like enough time to ask you one by one. But if I really ask you, what is to be? Waduh, nggak tahu Pak. I'm not sure. I do not know. Okay, ada yang agak kritis. Some of you might be more critical, yeah. So you might say like, mungkin ngomong gini ya, I get confused Pak. Sometimes it is there, sometimes it is not. Yeah, I get confused. Okay, next. Now how do you translate to be? Nah ini ngawur ya. Oh, to be ini sedang Pak, like in I'm eating. Saya am sedang eating makan. Maka I am eating, saya sedang makan. Am sama dengan sedang. Maka to be artinya sedang. No, this is wrong, right? Nah, adalah Pak, like in I'm a doctor. Saya adalah seorang dokter. Loh, saya dokter kan enggak apa-apa Pak ya. Kenapa enggak ngomong I doctor Pak? Nah ini. Oke, so ini kadang-kadang kita, aduh, kenapa ya wadah ini ya, gitu ya. Nah, ini lebih parah lagi kalau saya tanya ini, ya. So this question is very difficult. Now, when do we use it and why do we use it? Jawabannya, I'm not sure Pak, when we use it. But usually, it's intuition Pak, feeling Pak. Waduh, feeling ya. Jangan pakai feeling ya, kecuali kalau Anda mencintai seseorang boleh pakai feeling ya. But if you talk about grammar, don't use your feeling. Oh, I rely on my luck, ya. I'm counting my buttons, gitu ya. No, do not rely on your luck. You have to understand. Wah, wis, saya nggak ngerti Pak. It is too difficult for me. Terus daripada kadang ada, kadang enggak. Well, it is best for me to just put it wherever and anytime. Wah, no, of course not. Ya. Okay, now, this time let us get serious. Now we are talking about the construction. Alright, to be not followed by verbs. So this is the first thing that I would like to explain to you. And then later after this, I'm going to explain to you to be followed by verbs. Right? Now, to be, yeah, when not followed by verbs, we have these 5 possible constructions. These 5 possible constructions. Now, there is a question. Pak, ngapain sih Pak kalau mesti ada to be-nya? Saya dokter tuh ya, I doctor bisa Pak, I doctor atau I doctor kan nggak apa-apa Pak. But not in English guys, not in English, and not in all European languages. Yeah, not only in English, but in all European languages. So in all European languages, yeah, every sentence must have a verb. Setiap kalimat must have a verb. Harus. Harus itu artinya nggak boleh kalau enggak. Ya. But you see, these 5 constructions itu nggak ada. Artinya apa? Ya, for example.
Udah lama, papi belum nyeduh susu.
Subject noun, okay? Subject adjective. Subject adverb of time. Subject adverb of place. Subject prepositional phrase. Kalau bahasa Indonesia, without to be, it is possible. Coba kita lihat satu-satu. Subject plus to be plus noun. Maria is a singer. They are my friends. But in bahasa Indonesia, Maria singer, mungkin betul. But in English it is wrong because when you say Maria a singer, there is no verb. Okay? So you have to put is. Ya. Jadi ini supaya tidak melanggar prinsip bahwa setiap kalimat mesti punya kata kerja. You cannot say very dangerous. Ya. Kalau saya bilang dengan mahasiswa saya orang Jawa mungkin lucu ya. Kalau bilang saya terlambat, I late, nggak boleh ya. You have to say I am late. Jadi jangan bilang I late, you late, he late, she late gitu ya. So nggak bisa ya. Okay, so this is the pattern. And then subject plus to be plus adverb of time. You cannot say the MotoGP race tonight. Yeah, the MotoGP race is tonight. Yeah, the party yesterday. Oh, pestanya kemarin kok. No, you cannot say the party yesterday, but you have to say the party was yesterday. Yeah. The kids upstairs. Oh, anak di atas. No, you cannot say that. You have to say the kids are upstairs. Okay. The people here. The people here. Ya, nggak bisa. But you have to say the people are here. Kalau sudah, ya already. You may put at the back. The people are here already. Yeah, because when you say the people here, there is no verb, and that is not correct. This one is subject plus to be plus prepositional phrase. The books are on the table. Buku-buku di atas meja. Buku-bukunya di atas meja. In bahasa Indonesia, that is acceptable. Yeah. Okay, but in English, you have to say the books are on the table. Because when you say the books on the table, there is no verb. Okay, and remember the rule. The rule is you must have a verb in every sentence. Maka harus tambahkan are ini. We in the library. No. Yeah, we are in the library. Because when you say we in the library, there is no verb in the sentence. And you violate the rule. Yeah? And the rule says there must be a verb in every sentence. Okay? Nah, sekarang ada yang kedua. Ini adalah to be followed by verbs. Okay? Now, you have these 2 constructions. Subject plus to be plus verb ing. Ini sebenarnya kalau linguistics-nya Fiji ya. Nah, mungkin Pak Rahula masih ingat pelajaran linguistics ya. Kalau kita sih ngomongnya verb ing aja nggak apa-apa lah ya. Subject plus to be plus verb ing. For example, I. Ya. Nah, ini hanya bisa seperti ini aja. Jadi jangan pernah membuat kayak gini nih misalnya. Sir, I have a question. Can I construct sentences using these patterns? Waduh, saya mau buat kayak gini, sir. Subject plus to be plus verb 1. Subject plus to be plus 1 plus S or ES. Nggak boleh. Subject plus to be plus verb 2. No. Kalau subject plus to be-nya verb 2, ya boleh. Kalau misalnya nanti ada noun, ada adjective, ada verb of place, ada adverb of time, ada prepositional phrase, boleh. Tapi nggak boleh kayak gini. Apalagi ini, wah ini dosanya double nih. Udah ada verb 2 dikasih id atau id. Ya. So, nggak bisa. Ya. Jadi kalau buat kayak gini, harus ngerti bahwa ini nggak ada. Jadi, the answer is a big no. Okay guys, if you want to be creative in writing or speaking. So you can be creative in these 2 areas. Kalau listening ya nggak bisa kreatif ya. But you can be creative in writing or speaking. But I need to remind you that there is no room for creativity in grammar. Okay? So if you want to be creative, don't be creative in grammar. Because your creativity in grammar is sebuah kesesatan, ya, oke, jadi nggak ada kreatif di grammar, ya. Oke, ini yang kita harus tahu, ya. Jadi kalau misalnya gini, ini yang lucu ya, misalnya saya dulu pernah punya seorang murid namanya dia sebut saja Santo. Wow, he was very big, like twice my size at that time. Ya, saya bilang gini, udah rame di belakang, saya bilang gini, Tok, kamu sukanya apa? Coba yang mana yang benar nih, I like pentol atau I am like pentol? Ya, pentol jumbo, saya bilang gitu. Confidently, ya, and loudly he shouted, I'm like pentol sir, ya sudah benar, kamu seperti pentol, bakso, ya, bukan kamu suka bakso artinya, gitu ya. Jadi kita mesti tahu bahwa itu salah. Saya memotong, ya, saya memotong. Itu I cut, bukan I am cut. Kalau I am cut, saya dipotong nanti, ya. Oke, sampai sini mungkin ada pertanyaan sebelum kita ngomong tentang tenses. Mungkin Pak Rahula, can you probably question?
Dari Bu Sinta ini.
Okay.
Di chat. All this time if I want to write something in English, I should write it into Indonesian, then translate it into English. My question is, what should I do in order to write automatically in English? Thank you for your answer.
Okay, thank you, Bu Sinta. So if you want to write directly in English, then you have to think in English. All right? So you cannot think in Bahasa Indonesia. So if you think in Bahasa Indonesia and you write in Bahasa Indonesia, ya, seperti kalau misalnya tadi saya bilang, saya seorang guru, I teacher, kalau kita ngomongnya dalam bahasa, kalau kita mikirnya dalam bahasa Indonesia, nanti keluarnya nggak akan I am a teacher, gitu loh. Jadi, it's all about habit formation, Bu Sinta. It's all about habit formation, how we develop the habit of writing. Nah, kalau sudah nulis, itu baiknya ada seorang yang bantu juga untuk melihat. So you have somebody to mentor you. So you have somebody to coach you, somebody to tell you when it is not correct. And to have somebody to tell you, oh, it is better for you both to write like this. Yeah, otherwise it is difficult. Yeah, but then the key to writing is to read a lot. Yeah, the key to writing is to read a lot. You cannot write a lot without reading a lot. Yeah, okay. So Pak Heri Chan, we are in the library, but when we do the conversation, we can say we are in the library. Oh, is it correct? Okay. Kalau misalnya kita lihat ya di we are and then dari we're, nggak apa-apa. That is okay. Ya, oh, even in writing in written English, even in writing, it is okay. It's called contraction. Kalau dalam bahasa Inggris singkatan namanya contraction. Nggak apa-apa. It is correct. Like I'm your teacher. I am your teacher. I'm your teacher. Ya, nggak apa-apa.
Yeah, sometimes when we say cannot be listen what I say. We are in the library. I said we are in the library. So we would not. We are like this, Mr. Hadi.
Yes, we are in the library. That is good. Kalau I am not, nggak bisa I amn't. Nah itu nggak boleh. Kalau he is not atau he isn't bisa. Tapi kalau am kasih not nggak bisa Pak. Jadi nggak bisa bilang I amn't, I am not, I'm not, I am not atau I'm not. I'm not a pilot. I am not a pilot atau I'm not a pilot. Saya nggak bisa bilang I amn't a pilot. Yeah, because am cannot be contracted with not. Okay, now let's say English tenses. Yeah, I'm going to explain to you about tenses, how many tenses you have, the construction, and the easier way to memorize the patterns, and when do we use which and why. So probably right now you have questions like, okay, sir, I would like you to explain to me the difference between this tense from that tense. Okay, please write in the chat. Yeah. As I go along the way, you just type. Yeah. Later, I'm going to take a break for a while, and I'm going to answer your questions. Now, tenses. What are tenses? Okay. Now, tenses is bentuk waktu, Bapak dan Ibu, and also students. In English, the time rules the verb. The time rules the verbs. Or in other words, the verbs change according to the time, not only the pronouns. For example, kalau he goes, bukan he go. But then if I say they go, not they goes. Okay, pronoun juga. Tapi pronoun itu just in very limited occasions, ya. But The time is the king. Ya, the time is the ruler. Ya, bahwa time determines the verbs you use. Oke, oleh karena itu kita nggak bisa in bahasa Indonesia, like for example, sekarang, kemarin, besok, makan, stays makan, pergi, stays pergi. Ya, oke, let's see. Nah, tenses are the most difficult thing for Indonesian learners because the verb in our language does not change according to the time. Therefore, we need to put extra efforts. Jadi kita mesti berusaha lebih keras. Oh, kalau kita tanya, loh, Sir, apakah si bule-bule itu juga belajar native speaker of English? Do they also learn grammar? Saya harus katakan, iya. They also learn grammar, Bapak dan Ibu. Don't say that they don't learn. They learn, but the difference is that they started from very, very early age. Okay? But we didn't. That's all. Yeah, that's all. Jadi gini, once I went to Canada, and I stayed in Vancouver City. Yeah, one day I was on the SkyTrain. SkyTrain itu bukan kereta yang di udara, no ya. SkyTrain itu kayak kalau kita pergi ke Jakarta, itu namanya light rapid transit itu loh, ya. Kayak itu, lah itu namanya SkyTrain di Vancouver sana. Okay, and I noticed like two people. Okay, a mother and her little daughter. At that time, the SkyTrain was passing the biggest stadium of the city. Nah, mungkin itu kayak Kompleks Senayan gitu ya. Kalau di Surabaya nggak ada itu. Ya, Kompleks Senayan. And then the little daughter said to her mom, "Hey mom, look, we swam there yesterday. Look, we swam there yesterday." Memang dari atas tuh kita melintasi kolam renang ya, walaupun nggak kelihatan kolam renangnya, tapi ada kelihatan bangunannya. We swim there yesterday. Now is that correct? It is not correct. We know that swim is swam. Okay? You see? And then Mama Bule bilang sama anaknya, "No dear, we swam there yesterday. Not we swam. No, swam. We swam. Okay? And then the little daughter, got to memorize. It is not swim, but swam. Nah, itu kan juga belajar mereka. Ya, sama. Ya, so please do not be discouraged. Ya, you don't have the framework of thinking. Now I'm going to share with you the framework. Kalau present itu kita punya apa? Yang simple, yang continuous, yang perfect continuous. Ini semuanya akan sama. Ya. Past itu akan ada yang simple, ada yang continuous, ada yang perfect continuous. Oke. What you need to memorize itu adalah bentuknya ini loh. Simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. Oke. And then future the same. You have simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous, and then past, future. You have simple, continuous, perfect, and perfect continuous. So if you make it into a kind of table, yeah, it will be like this. So it is easy. Now, present you have simple, present you have continuous, present you have perfect continuous, past you have simple, and so on and so on and so on until you find 16. Okay? How come do we have 16? Ini ada 4 ya. If 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 4 is 16. So altogether there are 16. Now, if you can make this kind of table in your head, in your mind, you can mention the 16 tenses pretty much easily. Nah, sekarang kita tahu. Sekarang bagaimana sih supaya kita itu tahu rumusnya? Pak, saya ini sudah hafal Pak rumusnya Pak. Bagaimana caranya? My teacher asked me to memorize. Oke. Ya. Sebenarnya cara memorize-nya nggak mati-matian kayak gitu. Ada caranya. Now, how do we memorize better? I give you the tips. This one. Nah, ini. Kalau present itu mesti verb pertama. Ya, simple juga verb pertama tanpa tambahan apa-apa. And then kalau continuous, whenever you hear the word continue, it's always to be plus verb A. When you have past, it's always verb 2. Perfect, it's always have plus verb 3. Past future is always will plus verb 1. And passive, it's always to be plus verb 3 or past participle. Nah, ini gampang kita lihat. Nah, kita kembali ke sini. Kalau present yang simple itu pakai S atau IS. Kalau he, she, it dengan S atau IS. Now what about present continuous? Oh, tahu Pak saya Pak, I'm listening, I'm eating, I'm drinking, itu semuanya present continuous. But you see, kalau kita lihat pelan-pelan, ini ya, ini rumusnya apa? Present verb pertama. Continuous, to be verb ing. Nah, kita sering, what we need to do is to transform, to convert. What is the infinitive of to be? Oh, to be itu ada am, ada is, ada are untuk present. Maka the pattern for the present continuous is to be plus am is are plus verb ing. Jelas ya? Jadi kita nggak usah ngafalin banyak-banyak sebenarnya. Kalau ini sih agak gampang, coba yang bapak nanti ya. Present perfect. Nah, oh, perfect to have tambahkan verb ketiga. Oh, ini present ya sudah ada s-nya untuk isi it. Kenapa kalau kita nggak ngomong haves? Because it is, you know, about the pronunciation. It is easier to say has than to say haves, gitu ya. Kayak mangap-mangap ya, kalau kayak running out of breath gitu ya. Maka kita baiknya bilang has, it's simpler, okay? And then plus past participle, and then present perfect continuous. Okay, this one is present, ini adalah verb pertama. And then perfect, have tambahkan verb ketiga. And then continuous, to be tambahkan verb ing. Now let us see what I highlight in yellow. What is the verb one of have? You have, you have has. Maka ini bisa has, bisa have. And what is the past participle of to be? Been. Oke, maka rumusnya ini adalah have been plus verb ing. Jelas ya? Nah sama, kalau pas sama sih. Ini cuman kalau pas continuous, verb kedua dari to be was were. Kalau ini verb keduanya dari have adalah had. Maka subject plus had plus past participle. Nah, what about past perfect continuous? Oh, kalau past perfect continuous ini ada pasnya, ini ada perfectnya, ini ada continuousnya. Maka had, kemudian yang ini jadi been. Maka had been plus verb ing. Nah, future. You have future and you have future continuous. Oh, future itu will plus infinitive. And continuous is to be plus verb ing. Okay, what is the infinitive of to be? Oh, to be ya to be, but then you have to remember, after will, you cannot have to. Maka menjadi will be tambahkan verb ing. Kemudian, what about future perfect? Future is will tambahkan verb pertama. Okay, and then perfect have tambahkan verb ketiga. And will tetap will ya, so will remains will. And what is verb one of have? Oh ya, have. Kalau has nggak boleh. Kalau has susah ada tambahan s-nya. Maka will, have plus past participle. Nah, what about future perfect continuous? Subject plus will plus verb one. So this is future. And then perfect, have plus verb three. And then continuous, to be plus verb ing. Now will stays will. Now what about the verb one of have? The verb one of have stays have. Kalau has nggak boleh, karena will selalu infinitive. What about the past participle of to be, been? Oh, maka rumusnya adalah will, have, been plus verb ing. Nah, untuk past future sama. Okay, the patterns are quite similar. The only thing that you change is just will to would. Udah, belakangnya sama. Gitu ya. Jadi kita lihat di sini bahwa tidak ada subjek ditambahkan to be ditambahkan verb pertama, nggak ada di sini. Subjek ditambahkan to be tambahkan verb pertama tambah s atau is, tambah nggak ada. Subjek tambahkan to be tambahkan verb kedua juga nggak ada. Ya, subjek tambahkan to be tambahkan verb ketiga. Ada apa enggak? Ada, itu passive voice. Oke, kita akan lanjutkan sebentar. Ini passive voice. Oke, what about passive voice? What you need to do is to add to be plus past participle. That's it. Then you have the passive voice of the English language. Nah, caranya bagaimana? Gampang, nanti aja kita tambahin aja ini. Ya, ini yang sudah saya highlight ini nanti kalian coba untuk ganti, ya. Jadi kalau present yang perfect ya, maka rumusnya adalah ini subjeknya di sini atau objeknya, ya. Ini have been tambahkan verb ketiga. Nah, ini kenapa kok nggak ada, guys? Yang di sini nggak ada. Maka dari 16 ini, out of the 16 tenses in the active voice, you can only have up to 10 passive voices. Kenapa? Yang di sini nggak ada semua. Kenapa? Karena kalau kita nanti buat transformasi, itu akan menjadi been being. Ini semua akan menjadi been being, been being. Nah, itu in English, it's absurd. So they don't say it. Nah, di sini juga ini akan menjadi will be being verb ketiga, dan di sini akan menjadi would be being verb ketiga. Maka be being, been being, so they think it's absurd. Kenapa? Karena double. Maka tidak ditulis. So in total, ya, there are 16 tenses, ya. In total there are 26 patterns. Oke. Loh, kok bisa 26? Dari mana? Oke, 16 active voices and 10 passive voices. Oke. Nah, tapi kita mesti tahu loh ya. Waduh Pak, saya mesti hafal 26 ini Pak, belum nanti time signals-nya. Wah, soro Pak. But you see, ada segini banyak. Memang, tapi yang kita pakai berapa sih? Cuman paling ya, ini ya, mungkin kita pakai ini. Segini ini semua. Ini ya, mungkin yang di sini ya jarang pakai. Ya, ini mungkin yang dipakai cuma ini aja loh. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sudah, mungkin 7 ini aja loh yang dipakai. Yang lain enggak. Jadi don't worry. Oke. Nah, now the next question is, when do we use the passive voice? We use the passive voice when we would like to emphasize more on the action and not the doer, not the agent. Bukan siapa yang melakukan, tapi apa yang terjadi. And then number 2, we do not know who the agent is. For example, kita tahu ya, di sepanjang jalan itu Senayan City depannya itu kan banyak pohon-pohon ya. Oh, pohon-pohon ini ditanam 10 tahun yang lalu. Siapa yang menanam? Ya enggak tahu. Atau yang nanam ya pasti Pak Bon. Not very important. Maka kita bilangnya the trees were planted 10 years ago. So we use the passive voice. Ya. Kemudian, oh, sepedanya dicuri kemarin. Do we know who the agent is? Ya tahu lah, kalau pencuri ya pasti pencuri. Maka nggak usah his bike was stolen yesterday by a thief. Nggak usah. Maka kita cuma bilang his bike was stolen yesterday and that's it. Ya, because you can draw conclusion who does it, who did it, ya, from the verb. Oke, nah tapi kadang-kala guys, kita nulis dengan passive voice, kita kasih by di belakang. Nah, kan pelakunya toh. Nah, maka kita mesti tahu bahwa when we write using that construction, when we write using that construction, we would like to emphasize that the agent is very important. Jelas ya? Misalnya gini, pernah ke Kebun Raya Bogor apa enggak? Have you been to the Botanical Garden of Bogor? Itu ada satu pohon, ya. The tree was planted by the Queen of the Netherlands. Wah, pohon satu Belanda. Kenapa kok kita nggak bilang the Queen of the Netherlands planted the tree? Kan sama aja. No, nggak sama, ya. Kenapa? Karena kerjaannya Ratu Belanda bukan penanam pohon ya. Itu kepala negara, tapi dia menanam pohon itu sebagai apa? Simbol persahabatan, ya kan? Maka the tree was planted by the Queen of the Netherlands. Maka lebih penting bahwa actionnya penting, yang melakukan juga penting. Oke, so we use the passive voice. Arti ya. Dulu ada cerita waktu itu Pak Dahlan lagi sebel tuh sama WC yang ada di Bandara Suta. Kemudian Pak Dahlan ambil pel-pelan, ambil timba, kemudian dia bersihkan tuh lantai kamar mandinya. Maka kemudian on the following day there was an article in the newspaper. Lantai Bandara Suta dipel oleh Menteri BUMN. Nah, dipel oleh. Nah, bukan Menteri BUMN mengepel ya. Kalau Menteri BUMN mengepel ya kurang wah ya kesannya ya. Tapi kita pakai by ya. When we use the passive voice and we use by, itu artinya bahwa the agent is very important, super important. Okay? Nah, this is what we need to know. One thing that we have to remember is that the English language does not use as much passive voice as Bahasa Indonesia. So in English, try to write. When you write, try to use the active voice and not the passive voice. Ya, kalau bahasa Jawa mungkin kita bisa mendengar ya. Oke, silahkan tehnya diminum. In English, do not follow the construction like in bahasa Indonesia, jangan bilang gini, please, the tea is drunk, the tea is drunk. Waduh, orangnya bingung, ya, loh, the tea is drunk. Tea-nya diminum atau teh mabuk ini, ya, bingung ya. Okay, so we have to know that please drink the tea, please have the tea, gitu ya. Jadi in English we use more active voice than the passive voice. Oke, nah ini ada pertanyaan lagi misalnya tentang tenses silahkan ya sebelum kita ngomongin lebih jauh nih. Ada apa nggak nih Pak yang tanya nih tentang tenses? Oke, belum ya? Belum. Sekarang kita lihat aja nih tentang mungkin ada yang tanya apa sih bedanya present tense dengan present continuous gitu kan? Apa sih bedanya past tense dengan present perfect lah, itu mungkin sering ditanyakan ya. Kalau past tense itu dengan present perfect itu sering bingung orang-orang. When we use past tense, we would like to talk about something in the past that has no relationship whatsoever with the present. But when we use the present perfect, we would like to talk about something yang sudah terjadi, tapi yang sudah terjadi itu mempunyai ya, but the event has relationship to the present. Itu yang berbeda. Jadi misalnya, kalau saya tanya Pak Rahula, have you had your dinner? Ya, itu artinya apa? Sudah makan atau belum? Kalau belum, kita makan malam bersama. Itu ada buntutnya di situ, ada ekornya. Tapi kalau saya bilang did you have your dinner, I just ask for, for the information. That's it. Nah, itu bedanya. Oke, jadi misalnya kalau kita punya zaman dulu ya, waktu bayar sekolah masih pakai amplop Mika itu ya, itu saya mesti tanya Mama, oh ya Hadi sudah dikasih atau belum uangnya ke guru, ya kan? Itu Mama saya akan tanya seperti itu. Kalau dalam bahasa Inggris, it is translated as have you given the money to the teacher? Dulu yang terima uang bukan bank ya, bukan kasir tapi wali kelas ya. Have you given the money to the teacher? Bukan did you give the money to the teacher? Ya, tapi kalau belum jangan sampai Mama nanti di telepon karena belum bayar, ya. Nah itu bedanya. Ya, kalau kita ngomong tentang historical facts, then we use past tense. Why? Because it's something of the past. It has no relationship with the present. Itu kayaknya kayak gitu penting sekali. Nah, apa sih bedanya present continuous dengan present perfect? It's also very important to know. Now, if we are talking about something at the moment, itu kita pakai present continuous. Kalau present perfect continuous, present perfect itu artinya apa? Sudah terjadi, ada hubungannya dengan sekarang. Ada continuousnya, maka masih sedang terjadi. Maka sudah terjadi dan masih sedang berlangsung sekarang. So there is a process, there is a long process. Now, for example, if I say I'm talking to you, I'm not emphasizing that there is a process. I'm talking to you, meaning saya sedang ngomong dengan Anda sekarang. But if I say I've been talking to you, artinya apa? Dari tadi saya ngomong dengan kalian loh, gitu ya. Misalnya sama, for example, saya lihat Pak Rahula sedang cari barang. Okay, you're looking for something. Saya tanya, Pak, what are you looking for? Misalnya Pak Rahula sudah kemana nih? Riwa-riwi, cari sesuatu ya kan? Saya tanya, bukan what are you looking for lagi, tetapi what have you been looking for? Nah itu bedanya, ya. Oke. Pak ini ada yang tanya apa mungkin Pak? Pak Rahula?
Yes, Mister.
Okay. So two participants raise hand. Can you try to there?
Yeah. Good.
Atau mungkin you can chat first ya, so that it is easier for Pak Rahula to find you, because when you just click the raise hand button, after a few seconds, it's gonna disappear.
Any questions from the participants? I think no questions.
Okay. So I will just go on with the modal verbs. Okay. Now modal verbs ini apa? And how many are there? What are the construction and everything? Okay. Now let's move on. Modal verb. Nah ini agak sulit juga in English. Itu kita mesti tahu ini modal verb. Kenapa? Kita ngomong ini present, ini kita ngomong past. Ya, tapi present dengan past ini a bit mixed up. Dan juga modal perfectnya itu artinya nggak sama dengan ini gitu loh. Ya. Kita masih punya waktu Pak Rahul ya. How much time do we still have?
Kurang 20 menit lagi.
Oh, kurang 20 menit lagi. Oke. Oke, jadi kalau can itu artinya bisa, ya, bisa. Oke. Now could, nah could ini juga sedikit susah ya. Could ini bisa artinya ability in the past, but could can also mean possibility. Ya, for example, ini punya siapa ya? Saya lihat ada tas gambar Hello Kitty. Oh, yang suka Lia. Oh, it could be Lia's bag. It could be Lia's bag. Nah, could di sini present. Ya. Nah, untuk sinonim ini, nanti kalau kita misalnya punya model dengan model, yang belakang masih kita ganti dengan sinonim. For example, Pak Rahula is now learning how to drive a car. Ya, kalau minggu depan pasti bisa. Ya, kita nggak bisa bilang Pak Rahula can drive next week, but we have to say Pak Rahula will be able to drive next week. Kenapa? Ini kalau models and models itu kita nggak bisa gabungin langsung, ya. And then must tuh harus, ya. Tapi must juga bisa artinya pasti, oke? It must be him. Kalau suaranya duk berat sekali, oh it must be him. It must be Pak Rahula, besar orangnya. It must be him, alright? Di must bukan berarti harus lagi, ya. Nah, kemudian kita juga punya must have. Kalau must have itu artinya apa? You believe that something was like that. Nah ini agak susah kalau kita jelasin agak cepat ya, karena ini memang artinya lain-lain. Gini aja lah, saya tanya. Mungkin kalau dari teman-teman yang mana sih yang masih lebih baik saya jelaskan, karena kalau saya jelasin semua mungkin nggak cukup waktunya ya. Oke. Mungkin ya. Alright, kita ngomong tentang clauses saja sekarang. Ini I would like to invite you to know a lot ya about all the grammar ya. Oh ya, ini sorry, ini mestinya should ya, bukan shall. Oke. Clauses and phrases ini juga penting ya. Kalau kita ngomong tentang clause, itu artinya apa sih? Kumpulan kata yang ada subjek dan predikatnya. Kalau kita ngomong phrase, itu kumpulan kata yang nggak ada subjek, nggak ada predikatnya. Kita lihat satu-satu. Whether you like it or not, you have to go to bed now. Nah ini, adverbial clause. Ada subjeknya, ada verbnya. Menerangkan bagaimana you have to go to bed now. If you pay your bills on time, you can have a good credit score. You see? Ini adalah syarat. Ya. Syaratnya untuk apa? Ya, tell me as soon as you are ready. Nah, as soon as you are ready itu juga merupakan adverbial clause of time. Kenapa? Karena saya juga bisa bilang, tell me later, tell me in 5 minutes, ya kan? Nah, tapi kan ada subjek verbnya, maka dia menjadi adverbial clause. Ya. Itu contoh. Because he loved her, he didn't believe she was having an affair. Because he loved her, itu menjadi keterangan kenapa kok dia tidak percaya. Ya. Once they saw the car coming, the bird flew away from the road. Nah ini, the birds flew away from the road. Kapan? Misalnya, a minute ago. Nah, ini kan kita lihat ada subjeknya, ada verbnya. Makanya namanya clause. Nah, kemudian ada yang namanya adjective clause. Kalau adjective sendiri, it's very easy. And you say about adjective, it's like good, bad, tall, delicious, and so on. Tapi kalau ini adjective clause, pizza which most people love is not very healthy. Nah, kita lihat di sini bahwa pizza itu adalah which. Most people love it. Most people love pizza. Nah, ini semuanya ada subjeknya, ada verbnya. Ini menerangkan apa? Ada objeknya juga menerangkan pizza. Pizza is a noun. Ada sesuatu yang menerangkan a noun, so it is an adjective. Ada subjeknya, ada verbnya, maka clause. So this is called adjective clause. Ini juga sama. Muslims are on the list, menerangkan those people. Ya kan, ada subjeknya, ada verbnya, menerangkan noun, maka adjective clause. It has subject, it has verb, maka merupakan clause. Maka kita namakan adjective clause. Ngerti ya? Kalau misalnya nanti di sini kita lihat, ya beberapa itu nanti kita bisa pendekkan, kita juga akan belajar. Alright? Nah, ini noun clause. Noun clause, nah, artinya adalah clause ini fungsinya noun. Karena dia berfungsi sebagai noun, maka dia punya pronoun. Jelas ya? Setiap noun pasti punya pronoun. Alright? What Megan wrote surprised her family. What Megan wrote. Ini ada subjeknya, ada verbnya, ada objeknya bahkan. Okay? Now, it is called a noun clause because it has subject, it has verb. Okay? And it functions as a noun. Lu kok bisa tahu? How do we know it functions as a noun? What Megan wrote, itu bisa kita ganti dengan it. It surprised her family. Okay? So whatever, if we can change that whatever using a pronoun, pasti dia noun. Okay? For sure it is a noun. They now understand that you shouldn't cheat on a test. Maka they now understand it. Jelas ya? That you should not cheat on a test. Ini semuanya adalah noun clause. If you want to change that you should cheat on a test, you can always say like, they don't understand it. Right? Charlie's problem was that she didn't practice enough. Okay? Charlie's problem was it. Okay? Ini. Nah. Ini bukan objek ya guys ya. Makanya kalau kita bilang mana subjeknya, Charlie's problem. Mana kata kerjanya, was. Mana objeknya, that she didn't practice enough. No, you are wrong. Because that she didn't practice enough itu bukan objek. Tetapi yang kita namakan adalah subjective complement. Okay? So how do we know it is a subjective complement? When you can change the position and the meaning is still the same, it's not an object. Okay? That she didn't practice enough was Charlie's problem. That Charlie didn't practice enough was her problem. Okay? Harry is not the best provider of what Marty needs. Harry is not the best provider of it. Right? Of it. Kita bisa ganti. Maka subjeknya ada verbnya, it's a clause. You can change into a pronoun, so it is a noun clause for sure. And then we also have phrases. There are 6 phrases. Alright? Nah ini. Kalau gerund, saya akan ngomong aja bahwa gerund itu adalah kata benda, bentuknya ing. For example, I love fishing in the sea. Maka fishing in the sea is a gerund phrase. Nah, tapi yang di sini itu adalah gerund phrase yang agak sulit ya, yang agak canggih pelakunya. She hates her having to do the cleaning every day. So we know that the doer is she. Kalau saya ganti dengan it, boleh apa enggak Pak? Boleh. She hates it. It's okay. Why? Because gerund functions as a noun. So you can change, okay, or you can convert, the gerund phrase into a noun. She hates it. Maka apa yang dia hate? Apa yang dia benci? She has to do the cleaning every day and she hates it. Jelas ya? Number 2, the building of the tower took almost 5 years. Pembangunan tower tersebut. Maka it took almost 5 years. It's also possible to replace the building of the tower using it. Maka kita tahu bahwa gerund phrase juga fungsinya sebagai noun. The building of the tower itu bisa kita ganti menjadi, kalau kalimat ya, the tower was built. Ya, kemudian it took almost 5 years. And then number 3, Maria's reviewing the flaws of the system is well appreciated. Maka it is well appreciated karena ini kan gerund phrase semuanya adalah noun. Now, what is well appreciated? Bahwa that Maria reviews or reviewed, boleh juga past atau present, that Maria reviews the flaws of the system. Okay? The hardest part was her promoting the event. Maka siapa yang promoting the event? Maka she promoted the event. The hardest part was it. Okay, so it's a gerund phrase. Ya. Apakah ada pertanyaan di sini? Belum ya. Next, participle phrase. Brewing a lovely pot of tea, Chris also decided to indulge in 2 butter cookies. Ya. Nah, kalau participle phrase itu gini, kita punya phrase namanya participial, artinya kata kerja. Jadi phrase itu kata kerja langsung, nggak ada subjeknya. Lah, kenapa kok bisa seperti ini? Karena kata kerjanya itu ada dua, tapi subjeknya satu. Jadi siapa yang brew a lovely pot of tea? Juga Grace. Nah, yang terjadi terlebih dahulu itu bisa kita buat seperti ini. Maka sebenarnya Grace brewed a lovely pot of tea. Grace also decided bla bla bla. Ya. Rocky Balboa, beaten within an inch of his life, stood up and kept fighting. Nah, ini beaten. Ini adalah verb ketiga, guys. Maka di sini adalah bentuk phrase yang pasif. Maka Rocky Balboa was beaten. Ya, maka bisa dihilangkan seperti ini langsung. Ya. I closed the curtains after I spotted the trees dancing in the shadows. Nah, dancing in the shadows itu siapa yang dancing in the shadows? Maka the trees. After I spotted the trees were dancing in the shadows. Maka sebenarnya adalah the trees-nya di sini. Tapi nggak kita tulis. Kenapa? Because the subjects are the same. So we can always erase one of them. Okay. Played by millions, soccer is a popular sport, right? Played by millions, soccer is popular all around the world. Played by millions. Ini adalah soccer. Soccer is played by millions. Soccer is popular. Jelas ya? Maka bahwa bila mana ada dua kalimat subjeknya sama, ini bisa kita buat seperti ini. Kalau ada hubungan sebab akibat atau keterkaitan waktu. Jelas ya? Kalau misalnya gini, saya suka makan kerupuk, saya pergi ke sekolah setiap hari. Subjeknya sama, tapi nggak bisa dong kita ganti menjadi participial phrase. Kenapa? Karena syaratnya nggak terpenuhi, yaitu harus ada sebab akibat, harus ada keterkaitan waktu. A positive phrase. Nah ini kalau kita lihat sebenarnya sama dengan adjective clause. Ini sebenarnya positive phrase ini adjective clause yang kata kerjanya pakai to be. Itu bisa kita hilangkan seperti ini. A person smarter than me needs to figure this out. Sama dengan a person who is smarter than me needs to figure this out. Tapi who is-nya kita hilangkan. Itu menjadi a positive phrase. Faster than a speeding bullet, Superman saved the day. Maka Superman who is faster than a speeding bullet saved the day. Juga bisa. Students upset about the rising cost of tuition stage a rally. Maka students who were upset. Oke, ini bisa dihilangkan seperti ini. Jadi kalau adjective clause kata kerjanya adalah to be, maka bisa jadi a positive. Kalau adjective clause kata kerjanya adalah verb, yang main verb, itu bisa jadi participial phrase. The foundation is raising money for children who are with birth defects. Ini ada who are-nya di sini, lalu kita hilangkan. And then infinitive phrase. Infinitive phrase ini adalah frase dengan to kata kerja asal. Nah, to travel all across Italy is Lucrezia's New Year resolution. Infinitive phrase ini menarik ya, karena dia bisa jadi kata benda, bisa jadi keterangan. Oke, maka kalau di sini itu kata benda. It is Lucrezia's New Year's resolution. It is the only reason Kyle would stay up all night. Nah ini, a good habit to do is it. Nah, Carrie wants to maintain a healthy lifestyle. Maka Catherine wants it. Oke, tapi kalau misalnya gini, I wake up early to catch the first bus. I wake up early to catch the first bus. Nah, maka itu bukan I wake up early 8, tapi di sini nggak bisa kita ganti 8 karena dia fungsinya bukan noun, tapi fungsinya adalah untuk apa? Purpose. Maka I wake up early to catch the first bus, itu nggak bisa kita ganti dengan it, tapi kita bisa ganti I catch the first bus by waking up early. Nah, itu bisa. Ya. Maka infinitive phrase ini gunanya dua, dia bisa untuk nominal, bisa untuk purpose. Nah ini abstract noun phrase. Nah ini, we can understand the decision of the manager. Ini sebenarnya artinya apa? The manager decide something, gitu ya. Kita ganti the decision of the manager. Ya, the pollution of the river was already at alarming rate. Ini kalau kita bilang the pollution of the river itu asalnya adalah the river was polluted. It was already at alarming rate. maka kita kemudian bisa buat the pollution of the river. The introduction of the new system was according to the plan. Ini sebenarnya kalau kita lihat, maka the new system was introduced. Kemudian, the second sentence is it was according to the plan. Nah, ini kita bisa buat seperti ini, ya. Caranya bagaimana? Kita punya kata kerja, kita jadikan kata benda, dikasih the, dikasih of. Nah, ini kita bisa menghemat tempat. The meticulous preparation of the event amazed me. Maka kita bisa bilang the event was meticulously prepared. Ya, the event was meticulously prepared. Kemudian it amazed me. Bisa kita gabung seperti ini. The meticulous preparation of the event amazed me. Nah, ini adalah phrase yang terakhir yang saya ingin sharing dengan Bapak Ibu sekalian, dengan mahasiswa. Kalau yang seperti ini, kita mau buat ya. Jadi misalnya yang nomor 2 ini yang paling kita bisa lihat dengan gampang. They finished their first meal together, their tummy satisfied, and their hearts satiated. Nah, ini kita mau gabungkan dua kalimat, ada hubungan sebab akibat, tetapi subjeknya lain. Nah, kalau subjeknya lain, maka kita nggak bisa buang subjeknya. Ya, tetap ditulis. All things equal, you should be able to board your train on time. Maka all things ya are equal. Taken by magic, Anton fell in love. Oke. So Anton, kalau ini bukan absolute ya. Ini kalau ini participle. I'm sorry, this example is not correct. So this one is about the absolute construction. Jadi kalau misalnya dia tidak sama, kita nggak bisa buang ya. Saya akan kasih contoh yang sangat ekstrim. Misalnya gini, saya akan example. The dog suddenly bark, ya kan? He got shocked. Suddenly barking nanti jadi dia dong. Padahal yang barking siapa? The dog. Nah, ini bisa menjadi benar, jadi absolute kalau seperti ini. Guys, the dog suddenly barking, he got shocked. Ini benar. Tapi kalau misalnya di sini kita kasih gini titik, kalau ini berdiri sendiri salah loh ya. Because there is no subject plus verb ing. Jelas ya. There is no subject plus verb ing. Kalau kita kasih is barking ini ya boleh, ini present continuous. Kira-kira seperti itu, Pak Rahula.
Ya, very good explanation from Mr. Adi. I think waktunya sudah habis ini ya.
Ya, kalau saya masih ada waktu sedikit untuk tanya jawab, nggak apa-apa. I'm still available.
Ada any questions from the participant? Only one question ya. Any questions? Perhaps.
So if you need,
yes.
The PowerPoint.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Thank you, Pak Rahula, Pak Hadi.
Yes.
So actually, when we speak in the audience, we have to talk about the English. But sometimes I don't know, it is very, it is very bad for the image of our as a speaker, or it is just because of we are not the native speaker, so they can accept our grammar like this, because like I write down all the 20 why somebody doesn't want to talk in English, never get the, and 16 number like you write down is I don't know grammar, so I can speak well. So can you give some explanation or motivation or some sentence that it is better your thinking, just follow the grammar only sentence, like you said, the present tense, past tense, and future tense only, or I need explanation from you because you are a master science from Holland. Thank you, Mr. Hadi.
Okay, so when you speak, yeah, you have to pay attention also to the grammar. So when I speak, I also speak with the grammar, because when you don't speak with the grammar, people will just see you not pretty much educated. So that is like the way it is. So how do we speak with grammar? So when you speak, actually, you don't have to speak too fast. You don't have to speak too fast. You don't need to speak too fast. When you still need time to think about this, you still have to think, you know, how to construct, you know, good sentences, and you need time to think. Actually, what you can do is to speak a bit more slowly.
Slowly,
When
okay.
you speak more slowly, you have time to think what to say next. Okay? If you speak too fast, then somehow you don't get the time, you know, to think what to say next. So I guess fluency is not about speed. Fluency lancar ya Pak ya, fluency.
Yeah, fluency lancar.
It's not about, okay, when you are fluent in English, then you can speak even a bit slowly, speaking steadily. So in such a way, you don't pause here and there too often. I guess that's better. And also, we can always try, you know, to have what so-called mental exercise, Pak Teddy. Okay,
Yes.
so this is how you do it. Now, for example, if you listen to people speaking, so try to think, is it possible for me to translate into English? Now, how am I going to say it if I have to say it in English? So if you keep thinking like that, you know, I guess you're going to develop, you know, like the nerve, yeah, the nerve inside, you know, and later when you speak, you can speak more fluently. So I guess it is the way it is, Pak. And it is also about habit formation. So try to speak. It's okay. Okay. Because, you know, if, for example, you try to speak English with me, like you say, I am agree. Well, I can tell you always, it is not I am agree, but you have to say I agree.
I agree.
Because agree is a verb. You cannot put object plus to be plus verb. But you need to say like I agree, I disagree. Yeah. So something like that. So you speak, you know, try to speak with somebody who knows better than you. So in such a way, you can get corrected. Yeah. If you speak with somebody of the same level, you're not going to get corrected. Also, like, I know, like, probably you are very fluent in Mandarin Chinese. Why are you fluent in Mandarin Chinese? Because you speak it often. You know, because you speak it often. And I speak also very often Mandarin. So when you speak Mandarin, you know, I can readily respond to it right away. And also about the accent. Don't worry about the accent, Pak. So we have our own accent. If I speak Bahasa Indonesia, so probably you are going to listen to my Medok, very Medok language. My accent is very strong. My Japanese accent is probably very, very strong when I speak in Bahasa Indonesia. But when I speak in English, probably you don't get to know my accent very much. And also there is a practice part. There is a practice. So it's called the intonation and pronunciation practice. So in English, yeah, you have to know that when you start a sentence, okay, and you are going to go higher, you are going higher, and then at the end of the sentence, you are going to be lower than where you started, okay. And if it is a yes/no question, for example, then the intonation must be rising until the end. For example, are you there? Are you inside? Okay, are you inside? Okay, but then if you have like question with question words, so the intonation is different. Okay, how do you like it? How do you like it? When you say it, it's lower than how. How do you like it? Right? And then you have to know how to give the stress, Pak. Because in English, it's different now. But in Bahasa Jawa, every syllable is stressed. Every syllable in a word is equally stressed. Now, for example, if I say upacara, say upacara, same stress, same strength of stress. But then in English, don't say that. For example, beautiful technology. Technology is not technology, no. Because if you read English like that, it's like bayangan, Pak.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is how you try to train your pronunciation and also your intonation. Something like that, Pak. And you don't have to speak too fast. And if you still need time to think, you know, you can put like gap filler. Gap filler is like, for example, I think to the best of my knowledge, as far as I'm concerned, may I say that, for example. So there are strategies for you to just fill in the gap. Okay.
Okay.
So I think that's the way. And then for English, yeah, it is, you cannot avoid learning about the grammar, because you know, all European languages have tenses, Pak. All European languages, yeah. I know it's easier to learn Mandarin. We are concerned about the grammar only, because the grammar in Mandarin is pretty much similar. So we have to memorize just a couple of things like adjective, noun, and non-noun adjective, like that only. But basically, there are no changes in the verb. Learning Japanese is way more difficult, Pak Teddy.
Oh.
Okay, so that's the way, Pak. And try to have like that mental exercise. Try to have mental exercise. So when people say something, so try to translate. So can I translate this way, that way? And read a lot. And, and from reading, you can learn also the construction. So as I told you about the tenses and the 26 patterns, the 16 active voice, and also the 10 passive voice, then you should learn later on, you know, when you find a to be, for example, in your text, anywhere, Pak, there is a to be, ya, ada to-nya, Pak Teddy. Itu belakangnya pasti, kalau enggak verb ing atau verb ketiga, kalau enggak gitu, pasti 5 hal yang saya sebutkan tadi, the 5 concepts. Pasti, Pak, kalau Bapak bisa nemukan yang subjek to be, bukan yang saya sebutkan tadi itu, 5 yang non, kemudian verb ing atau verb ketiga, pasti dia ngawur, Pak. Yeah, so I think when you know the rules, then you can be cautious. Oh, this is right. Oh, this is wrong. So later on, you can get to the correct yourself. Itu sudah lumayan, Pak. Kadang-kadang saya juga keliru, Pak, kalau ngomong kata, oh ya tadi kurang S-nya, Rek. Oh, bisa, Pak. Nah. Okay, so when you speak with grammar, so people will see you as educated, Pak.
Yes. Thank you, Mr. Hadi, very much.
Okay. So, thank you very much for Mr. Hadi. There's a clear explanations from Mr. Hadi. And
yeah, later when we have opportunities, we can learn together about, for example, passive voice, active voice, phrase responses. But you see, like what I am sharing with you today is like the big picture of everything. Yeah.
Okay. So it means that this is part 1 and next time is part 2, yeah? There will be a part 2, yeah?
If you are interested, why not?
Okay. Thank you very much for Mr. Hadi. So I think...
Thank you for the opportunity, yeah. So it's a very pleasant thing to be here, to be invited to know more, you know, brothers and sisters from Nalanda, yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Okay. So I think that's all for today. Thank you for all participants and thank you, for Mr. Hadi. So I will give to the MC because time is already up and I'm in the office alone already.
Okay.
All the staff already gone. Only me in the office. So I'm a little bit scared. Yeah. Okay, I give you to MC, please.
Thank Yang kami hormati, selanjutnya adalah sesi penyerahan sertifikat kepada narasumber dan moderator. Kepada operator, silakan untuk tampilkan sertifikatnya. Oke, sertifikat pertama akan diberikan kepada Bapak Rahula Hananuraga, MPD, selaku moderator pada siang hari ini. Dan sertifikat yang kedua akan diberikan kepada Bapak Hadi Sutris Winarlim, SPD MSC, selaku narasumber pada webinar siang hari ini. Kami ucapkan terima kasih kepada Bapak Hadi dan Bapak Rahula Hananuraga. Oke, demikian penyerahan sertifikat yang dapat kami sampaikan. Hadirin yang berbahagia, kan ke acara berikutnya. Kami ingin mengingatkan kembali kepada Bapak, nantinya data tersebut akan dipergunakan untuk pembuatan e-sertifikat atau sertifikat elektronik. Jadi data nama harus lengkap beserta gelar ya Bapak Ibu. Ya, acara selanjutnya adalah sesi foto bersama. Bapak dan Ibu diharapkan untuk menyalakan video di perangkat masing-masing agar wajah Bapak Ibu dapat terlihat dan diambil gambarnya oleh operator kami. Bapak Ibu dimohon untuk nyalakan dulu semua videonya dan bersikap manis, smile semuanya. Foto bersama ini akan dibagi menjadi 3 sesi. Kita akan mulai sesi yang pertama. Bapak Ibu bisa melihat ke arah kamera dan tersenyum. Saya akan menghitung mundur untuk pengambilan sesi foto yang pertama. Sesi foto yang pertama saya hitung 3, 2, 1. Baik.
Udah ya.
Sesi yang kedua. Ada 3 kali ya Bapak. Sesi yang kedua, 3, 2, 1. Sekali lagi Bapak Ibu, 3, 2, 1. Baik, terima kasih Bapak Ibu semuanya. Sesi foto sudah selesai. Kami ingin menginformasikan bahwa pada Sabtu ini tanggal 26 September 2020, jam 13 sampai 15 waktu Indonesia Barat, kami dari STAB Nalanda akan kembali mengadakan seminar daring dengan mengangkat tema dan acara daring dari STAB Nalanda yang dapat kami sampaikan. Hadirin yang berbahagia, sebelum kita menutup acara seminar daring siang hari ini, mari kita bersama-sama berdoa. Doa akan kembali dipimpin oleh Bapak Utomo SPDB. Kepada Bapak Utomo, kami persilahkan.
Next, ladies and gentlemen, we will end the online seminar this afternoon by praying and hoping that we will always be in good healthy and body. And hopefully, with the knowledge we get in this afternoon, we can bring progress in our education. Let me lead prayer in Buddhist ritual for Buddhist Pianjali. Let's recite the Namakara Hatha together. Dhammo, Dhammang Nama, Supatipanno Bhagavato Sawaka Sangho, Sangghang Namami. Sabi Sata Bhavantu Sukitata. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, Ms. Vivi.
Oke, thank you Mr. Utomo. Dear guests, we have arrived at the end of today afternoon program. We thank you for your presence and participation from all of you. helpful. Building this online seminar can add knowledge and insight and provide benefit for all to use. On behalf of the entire seminar organizing committee from this afternoon, we will like to thank you. See you at the next Nalanda online seminar.
Okay, thank you everyone. Goodbye and have a nice day. Bye.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Shalom, Om Santi Santi Om. Greeting of virtual Namo Buddhaya. Good afternoon.
Namo Buddhaya.
Bye everyone.
Good evening.
Namo Buddhaya.
Namo Buddhaya. Thank you Bapak Ibu semuanya.
Bye-bye.
Terima kasih, sama-sama.
I have to go home right now. Bye.
Bye.
Mr. Rahula, Mr.
I
Hadi.
see. Oh, Miss Vivi. Yeah. Just now we made, yeah. Okay.
You should write like this. It is wrong to write like that. So I think that is going to be like beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Oke, Mister.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hadi.
Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Rahula.
Oh ya.
You are very good moderator today.
Ya, saya mau Mr. Hadi mau make appointment dulu nanti buat free time minggu depan. Mau acara makan malam bareng. Udah lama nggak ketemu sama Mr. Hadi soalnya.
Iya.
Rumah saya jauh di Citraland itu.
Yeah, I live far in the east.
Iya, very far.
Very far.
But it's okay lah. Saturday we can meet.
Yeah. And yeah, we are all praying that this COVID is over soon.
Iya. Okay, we arrange on Saturday, I think. Only four of us. From Surabaya toh, from Bekasi kan? Kan it's too far. Jauhan ya, from Bekasi.
Tunggu aku ke Surabaya ya, Pak.
Oh iya. Oke, I have to go home. Pulang dulu ya. See you, bye.
See you, Pak.
See you, Mr. Rahula.
Thank you, Mr. Hadi.
Thank you.
Mr. Hadi, can you send us the material
Sure. I'm fixing some of the things.
that you sent to me online?
Yeah. And I'm going to send to Kuliah, and Kuliah can
Thank you,
press
Mr.
So you learn something.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I hope that right now
Yeah.
everyone in Canada can start speaking in English.
Ini udah bayar dari tanggal berapa loh nih ya? 16. Hah?
Yeah, but I think you can be a very good promoter. You can ask people to speak in English. And I guess
Okay.
the English
Thank
is-
you, thank you.
Di kampus tercinta Nalanda, banyak lika-liku selama ini, selama aku menempuh pendidikan. Wahai dosen serta teman-teman, jangan pernah kau lupakan Nalanda. Di sini tempat kita untuk belajar.